Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Daniel Montgomery here with Joyce Eng and Jeffrey Kare, and we are recording this a few days after the semifinals and a few days before the season 28 finale. We thought there would be no more major outrages with Sean Spicer gone, but then in what was really one of the saddest episodes of the show I can remember, we found out that James Van Der Beek had suffered a personal tragedy that affected his performances and kind of tanked his scores, though we could talk about those scores also. And then he was eliminated. Joyce, first of all, what did you think about that unfortunate turn of events?
I'm very sorry for what happened to James and his family and the miscarriage they suffered. It's very, very sad. But the judges made the absolute wrong decision to eliminate him. And, you know, it was very sweet of Ally. Like, Ally even, kind of saw the writing on the wall for herself. You know, she even said, I don't know if they'll save me again for a third time. And then they did. And then she tried to give up her spot to James, which was very nice of her. But this is just another flaw in the voting structure, which was designed to prevent these types of eliminations or wins, ultimately, with, Bobby Bones winning last year. But I think the judges kind of did this to themselves in that, they felt like they had to save her because they had been inflating her scores the past couple weeks. And the past couple weeks, we just all kind of felt like they were doing that to protect her from Sean Spicer, just to get him into the bottom two and then finally get him gone, which worked last week. But it also gave off the impression that she was the best dancer, which she's a great dancer, but she wasn't the best. And James was far more consistent this season, but it just, it gave this illusion, or especially on paper, it seems like she's the best. And I feel like they probably felt they couldn't eliminate her because they've given her 4 perfect scores this season.
And so, she was on top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, this is this is the second time she had a perfect score and she was in the bottom 2. So I feel like they don't want to look dumb because they've been championing her the past couple weeks. But it's also even taking his personal tragedy out of it, this is his first time in the bottom 2.
Yeah.
So it's also one of those things. It's how long do you continue to save someone who is landing in the bottom repeatedly versus someone who just got there on a fluke week and has been consistently good and had clearly been pulling the Bulls entire season. And they chose the wrong person.
Well, I disagree slightly. Not in this. I don't think James should have gone home, but I feel like they were in an impossible situation where they couldn't really justify keeping him against Ally, given how their scores have diverged, especially in recent weeks. I do think last week for Sean Spicer's elimination, they definitely padded the hell out of her scores.
Oh, yeah.
And I do not mind that. I wanted her to stick around because if she had gotten even half a point lower, she might have been eliminated, or it would have been her
she had 30 points on him last week.
Yeah, so they kept her safe. This week, I don't think they scored her unfairly. I don't think it was as drastically padded this week as it was last week.
She shouldn't have gotten a perfect score for that Charleston.
I
she
agree.
was out of sync in the beginning of that routine, and no one pointed it out.
Yeah, it was incredibly ambitious, and I think she deserved credit. That, I think that was the hardest choreography anyone had to do. So kudos to her for that. But I do agree that was probably more a 9's number than a 10's number. What did you think about that, Jeffrey?
Well, yeah, despite obviously the tragedy James went through with his wife suffering a miscarriage, I thought he really gave it his all on the ballroom both times he went on. And when it got down to the bottom 2 between him and Ally, I was like, I just knew either way this was going to be tough for the judges figuring out who they're keeping for the finale, who's going home, and well, talk about a Sophie's choice. So, man, I'm not sure what I would have done if I were in that situation. But I guess what I can say is I do agree with what you said, Daniel, about, the problem the judges were facing, as coupled with the fact that how much, Ally has been, building, improving throughout the competition, while James was obviously, very good from the get-go, but, his scores have been dropping in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger problem for me. I don't like last week's Ally scores. I understand, like, what they gave her a perfect night to keep her safe from Sean Spicer. I think what the real problem was is that they really lowballed James Van Der Beek.
They've been underscoring him. They've been underscoring him, and in a different way, Hannah. Like, they've been harsher on Hannah. But they've been underscoring James. Like, that's the whole problem. Like, they've been propping up Ally the past couple of weeks, so it seems like she's the best, and she cannot go.
Yeah, and that's I really think, the fact that he got 8s for his first routine. Honestly, they've given 9s to lesser numbers.
Yeah, that was cruel. Especially like you knew at that point they knew what had happened.
Yeah, and it was like, because we didn't know at home, and hearing Kare talk about, it's like, I don't know what happened, but your posture was off. It was like,
you know exactly what happened.
You know what happened.
And camera blocking yesterday.
Tom Bergeron even broke in to say, it's like, well, we'll actually be hearing about something that might have had an impact on this. So it's just like, why? Like, I felt like it was a bad choice no matter what, because I do think Ally has been really good, and honestly, my ideal Final Four would include her. I think the bottom two were just wrong entirely. I think Kel has also been overscored, and Lauren.
She's just been the most egregious because they've been doing it more. Like, the other people, it's like 1 or 2 dances here and there, but like hers has been like, since she landed in the bottom 2 again the second time, it's like they've been doing it consistently. But I think like the right person who should have gone home would have been Lauren, because I don't actually think so she has improved that much. Like, they're all like this Final 5, like they're all great dancers, but I think she was the weakest one left. And I like Ally. Like, none of this what had happened has anything to do with her. This is like all on the judges. Yeah, it's
such a bad position that she's.
Yeah. Well, like, the other thing is like the judges, like when Sean was still on, like, they kept telling him, like, you're not a good dancer, but it's clear that the fans want you here because they're voting for you. Well, the opposite is also true. Like, Ally is a great dancer, but unfortunately the fans aren't voting for her. Like, and I feel like, at some point it just kind of sends the wrong message to the fans, because they're still making the show like 50-50 scores and fan votes. And now they're overriding the fan votes 3 times, and it's kind of like, and at the expense of another really good dancer who suffered a personal tragedy. So it's like, it might turn people off, like the fact that they are just keeping her when like clearly people aren't voting for her.
Yeah, I think that was a good out that they could have, like, I know in So You Think You Can Dance, they have a similar structure where they have a bottom 2 and the judges decide the final decision. But there's a point on So You Think You Can Dance where the judges say, well, like, you two are pretty even. And so, like, you've been in the bottom 2 a bunch of times, so we're just going to go with what America says. Like, but for whatever reason, you're not connecting with the viewers, so we're going to keep this person and send the person who's been at the bottom over and over again home. So Jeffrey, who do you think, now that James is out of the competition and we sort of have a power vacuum at top, who do you think is the front runner to win?
I currently have Ally winning right now. I mean, she's certainly. Well, I mean, again, I guess there's the question of if her fans really have been rallying around her, which, part of me thinking that what led to James being in the bottom 2 this week was, I guess, maybe some of his fans were probably thinking, well, he's going to be safe anyway, so I'm voting for someone else. But back to Ally. Yeah, I really don't know in regards to viewer hopes. Again, she's my prediction right now, but then again, I could see a case made for Kel or even Hannah.
Yeah, what do you think, Joyce?
I feel like Ally would probably finish in 4th, unfortunately. Like, it just is clearly like the fans aren't voting for her for whatever reason. Like, and like, she'll have the scores, definitely. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she got 60. for 2 dances on Monday. But I just don't like, she's already been in the bottom 2-3 times. Like, I don't know. I feel like the best she could do is maybe 3rd. Yeah. I think it's between Hannah, who's never been in the bottom 2, and Kel, who has like the growth arc, and has been the most improved this season. And he's been like completely drama free, and he like delivers like really fun dances, and his contemporary was really good. I prefer that to Hannah's.
I preferred Hannah's.
I like Hannah's, and that's like Hannah's best dance so far, because I feel like that was the one I feel like she actually connected to the most, because I feel like she's still kind of withdrawn in a lot of her dances, and she was very lucky that her rumba was to like a faster paced song, that she could still keep her smile and look okay. Like, I still feel like she has trouble with like the characterizations a little bit, but I think it's between the 2 of them. And Lauren, she has like, Bobby Bones, like, advocating for her, but I don't know if like his fans will like completely come through voting for her like they did for him,
Yeah, and Bobby Bones was never in jeopardy, so
yeah.
And Lauren was. So I don't know how much how strong she is compared to him in terms of the fan turnout. Yeah. I'm going with Hannah at the moment, just almost by process of elimination. She's never been in the bottom 2, so and she's been close to the bottom in the scores. Yeah. So there have been opportunities where she could have suffered from that, and she never has. So I think she's got the fan support. She's been really rocky with the judges up and down, but like I feel like she is almost as likely to get a perfect 60 on the season finale as Ally is. Like, I can see them.
She still hasn't gotten a perfect score yet. So like,
no, she has never gotten a 10 from Len this entire season. Yeah. She's gotten 10s from everyone else, but his darn 9 paddles just keep her from those perfect scores, which at this stage of the competition is very surprising. But yeah, just given her strength all this season, I think she, in terms of viewer votes and relative judges scores, like she's still one of the highest scoring dancers in the competition. So I think it's going to be her. But I also think Kel could do it, because I think he has improved. I do think his contemporary personally was overscored. I don't think that was, that was.
It shouldn't have been a 30, but I just liked it more than Hannah's.
I thought like his, like it was another case of, I think, contemporary just here's your 30. Like, you did a contemporary and you were sad, and here's your 30.
But she did get one, see?
No, she didn't get one, which is what shocked me, because she had a harder one.
I just preferred it because it wasn't like those typical overwrought contemporaries like hers was like in the vein of, like his is like just kind of more just like paying tribute to his friend, even though like it was a very sad thing about gun violence. But it's not one of those like, hers was just about like heartbreak and like, I'm single and like I don't need you anymore, like those kinds of contemporaries, which I'm like kind of sick of.
Well, another interesting thing about these finalists is with James gone, that also takes away Emma from the competition, who was a past Mirror Ball champion. Now there's only one past Mirror Ball champion among the pros, and that's Whitney, who's Kel's partner, which is another potential reason he could win. The other 3 male pros who are left would all be first timers: Alan Burstyn, Gleb Sevchenko, and Sasha Farber. Yeah. So looking at them, it's like I keep thinking, oh well, who of them among them would I most like to see? Like, regardless of who they're partnered with, like if you were choosing a male pro in a vacuum out of these final 3, who most deserves to win their first Mirror Ball trophy? What do you think about that, Jeffrey?
Tough one. I know Gleb especially has been on the show a long time, and I guess it'd be nice to see him win for once. Though I'm not sure if Alaina is gonna be the partner to help it out with. Sasha would be deserving as well, and maybe Alan.
Yeah, it's interesting that Sasha's all personal best is 3rd place, which was with Tanya Harding, and Gleb and Alan have both peaked at 4th place. So we're guaranteed that at least one of them will have a personal best finish, just because there's only one 4th place spot. So
This is also, it's like Whitney is also the most experienced out of like not only has she been on the show longer, but she's been in more finals. Like this is the second final for all the dudes.
Yeah, and she's not only been in the finals multiple times, she's won a Mirror Ball with Alfonso. She got an Emmy nomination for choreographing their freestyle. So the thing about Kel is he has great rhythm, but it doesn't always fit with this particular style or that particular style. But a freestyle, I mean, I feel like Whitney's gonna have a field day choreographing that.
Yeah, like he's gonna be fine because like their redo dance is gonna be their jazz. So
so he's gonna get two freestyles. Basically.
Like he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, so but in a vacuum, looking at their track records up to this point, I really would love Sasha to have a Mirror Ball trophy.
I just like Sasha in general. So I would love him to have one, and then he and Emma will have matching Mirror Balls.
Yeah. And he's such a good like teacher, and he has such good chemistry with the people he dances with. Gleb doesn't always have as good a chemistry. Alan is still very green. This is only his fifth season on the show, fourth or fifth season. He hasn't been on for very long. So I feel like Sasha is kind of due, and he has been doing really great work with Ally, even though Ally.
Yeah, I love the two of them. Like the fans aren't there for them for some reason. I feel bad. I like it. Like that has to suck knowing that like you're getting perfect scores and then no one's voting for you. Yeah, Ally feels like the Alexis Ren this season, where she's going to be really great in the finals, and she might be stuck in. But there's no showmance with them, so it's fine.
No, it's better. Yeah, it's better. So I think maybe they need a showmance. Although then they're going to vote against her because she's breaking up Sasha and Emma's marriage or something.
Oh.
Or it could be like a Vicky Cristina Barcelona throuple kind of situation where they're all falling in love with each other. And then that will be a lovely romance.
I don't know. Like, I think like maybe like her gesture to like offer her spot might like win over some people, but I still don't think that will be enough for her.
I agree. What I think, like the first thing that I thought of when she made that offer, like at the end of the show, like, please, can I give him my spot? Can I give him my spot? I feel like one, it would be a really nice gesture, and two, it might help her. Yeah. Is if in her freestyle they incorporate James in some way. Like
I feel like he's probably not. I mean, maybe he'll be there, but I don't think he's going to perform on Monday. Yeah. He is going very sad, lot, but it's something that I would love, like if she offered, and because it feels like it would be such a nice moment between the two of them if he like obviously what he is going through with his wife's miscarriage is takes so much precedence over that. But coming into this week, he almost didn't want to come back and compete. So like maybe his wife will insist. Give us a farewell. Also, I don't know. I'm dying over all the conspiracy theories that like he asked to leave and that's why they eliminated him. I'm like, they wouldn't have done that if he wanted to leave. Like they would just let him withdraw and they would just announce it. Like they wouldn't put on a fake elimination.
Yeah, with all the backlash to it, like no one would have been.
They let people withdraw all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like I believe was it Lamar Odom who withdrew early on?
Oh, Ray Lewis.
Oh, Ray Lewis.
But like Sarah Evans withdrew because she was going through a divorce. And like people would have understood.
Yeah, and there would have been no kind of uneasy feelings about the final four. It wouldn't have been like they eliminated the front runner. It would have been like he has stuff going on and he feels like he has to tend to that. Like under any other circumstances, I think if this were the final four under those circumstances, I think there would be no kind of question or kind of feeling of doubt of is this really the right final four? Because it's just like life happens.
Yeah.
So there's no way it's not a good look the way it happened. So I don't know why on earth they would have staged it this way.
Well, I think that's the other thing that like they with them like giving Ally all these great scores and possibilities. Like no one ever thought James would be in the bottom two. Yeah. Like the judges definitely did not see that coming. But, this unfortunately happened. No one could have known this was going to happen, and it affected him. And he got low scores, and that was a large deficit for him to overcome.
He's the only one who got 8s, and then he never got a single. Like his second dance was, just got 9s. And it's like,
also, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he still his total was still higher than Ally's.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
yeah,
because we've seen that before, and she's been in the bottom enough times that we know that she was probably in last place at least one of the times that she was in the bottom 2. And this is quite possibly one of those. Although I do think they really need to revamp a voting system. If you could get be on top of the leaderboard with an almost perfect night, and still the way things combine, you could still be eliminated from the show in last place when the viewer votes are come into play. I feel like being number 1 on the leaderboard shouldn't make you immune from elimination, but it should be very, very hard for the math to get you eliminated once they combine everything.
Yeah, I think the problem ultimately is there's just not enough people watching the show and voting. I don't think this would really be a huge issue during the height of the show when 20 million people were watching and voting. I just feel like there's just not enough people watching and voting, and then she just definitely doesn't have the fans. I don't know. So, yeah.
So another sad thing, sad depending on your viewpoint, I guess. Joyce, you've written about this, and this will be published soon, but we already know from ABC's schedule that the show won't be back in the spring again. Which, yes, Jeffrey, you can read that when that is published in the morning, but we...
that's basically it. So.
Yeah, that's basically the whole news. Yeah, but tell us about that, Joyce, and what do you think about that?
I don't think anyone's really shocked since we already had a year without the spring season. But yeah, ABC announced their mid-season schedule, and they had the Oscars on it for the first time. They've never listed the Oscars as part of their mid-season announcement, but that was there. Dancing was not. So I think people kind of suspected if there is going to be a 29th season, it'll be next fall. So I don't think that's really surprising. But yeah, so they'll have another lengthy break. But the show also hasn't officially been renewed yet. So it's all still hypothetical. But last season, Tom signed off with saying see you next year, because he said that was what he was cleared to say. So he might say that again on Monday.
Yeah. And what do you think about not having Dancing with the Stars in the spring again, Jeffrey?
Well, it's probably for the best, especially since ABC has American Idol, and we saw how that turned out when the first season of Idol aired on ABC. We had a truncated season of Dancing with the Stars, so it's probably for the best to let ABC focus on one big reality competition program at a time.
Yeah, I think it's probably, I understand it. I am a little sad. I feel like the show is limping towards an inevitable finish. And what I feel like is just next season, just do 2 seasons in fall and then the spring of 2021. That will get them to season 30, and you can just go out on number 30. And I feel like that's a really good number. You could make it a triumphant thing. This is our 30th season, and they can do tributes to past seasons and bring back past contestants for special things here and there. And it would be a great way to end it, round out the season that way. I just feel like limping along one season a year, and it's kind of...
Yeah. And also, they were trying to promote this season as its big return, because it has they're tweaking it with bigger celebrities than ever. That includes Sean Spicer apparently.
They shot themselves.
I think the season has really panned out the way they were hoping for when they were just talking about it over the summer and everything. So because they were kind of hoping the break would kind of refreshen the show and extend its life. So I could see it still going on just because it's kind of sturdy for them. And basically all shows are down in ratings anyway. So, but yeah, it'll just be kind of we're waiting a full year again. Cause I still feel after last season, there was not like excitement, but just kind of like we need to get that stench of like Bobby Bones out of like our mouths before we return to the ballroom. Whoever wins on Monday, like there won't be that same sentiment, you know?
Yeah, I sort of, part of me thinks that the show, if they're going to skip the spring, it would almost be better to bring it back as a summer show and have it be that, because then the expectations are lower for ratings. It can be that sturdy performer there. The problem there is that you're putting it head to head, like even if they're not on the same night, head to head against So You Think You Can Dance. And so you have two dance shows happening at the same time, and they already share a lot of talent. So you're going to have to, have potential conflicts there. And I'd hate to see them siphon off of each other, which would be the only downside to that, I think. But otherwise, I feel like a summer season might be a good alternative for the show going forward. Anything specific you're looking forward to, Jeffrey, in this final episode coming up?
Well, I'm excited to see how everyone's going to do for their last hurrah, and it's definitely going to be quite suspenseful to find out who's going to be the winner.
And I agree it will be suspenseful because literally, like, the person I was predicting is gone now. So
same here.
I mean, it's good that like they're all good dancers.
They're all good.
So,
yeah. They wouldn't necessarily be the ones I would pick, but they're like all better than Sean, and they're all better than Bobby Bones. Yeah. So really, I'm good. Like, however it ends, it won't be horrendous. It will be fine.
Yeah, that's the best praise. It will be fine.
Yeah.
And with that glowing endorsement of this 28th season of Dancing with the Stars, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Jeffrey and Joyce, for joining me. And we will be back next week to talk about the season or series finale of Dancing with the Stars, depending on how Tom Bergeron signs off. So until then, we'll see you next time.